Now, one of the reasons I can ascribe and stay because generally, realistic point of view, what's not considered as a serious business. Government still sees it as things, recreation, and a form of political patronage.
Welcome to this game of legends. On this episode, we will be discussing the importance of sports events in an economy.
Yes, hello everyone. On another episode of this game of legends, I have the privilege of being here with Adeyemi Adesanya. He is a sports entrepreneur and a sportscaster. A lot of consulting done in events and writing and so on and so forth. So, Mr. Adeyemi,
Thank you for having me.
it's a pleasure to have you here. To dive right into it, I'm curious. I'd like to get your opinion as an entrepreneur who's had a lot of experiences in sporting events. I just want to ask you, how important are sports events towards the development of an economy?
It has become a multifaceted industry. So when you are hosting a sports event, it entails a number of things. So if you're a country that, for instance, has a national carrier, that means that there going to be a lot of flights coming to the country, and your national carrier is going to enjoy a lot of people. That's on one side. From the alternative perspective, it means that hoteliers will have a lot of people in their rooms in respective hotels. So you are talking less economic. Now, you're also saying those types of great job. So it solves the issue of unemployment. So from point where you get the hosting right, building the infrastructure, we're going to need laborers to work those facilities. So you're even employment for the community. Then you talk about the local economy. So people will visit. So for instance, let's say Nigeria is hosting a football competition. Another Kuta is one of such locations. That means is that you're going to get people who are going to visit sites like Moro, people going to where they make adire, patronizing local entrepreneurs, local small and medium enterprises. So what we're also saying is that, provides a wide spectrum of opportunity, right, for country that's hosted. It's gone beyond the event itself that happens, whether it's football, athletics, boxing, whatever. It's gone beyond that. It has a big socioeconomic benefit for the country.
Well, yeah,
Basically, that's it.
fantastic analysis. Thank you for that. I'm just curious. So, in Lumot, what we do is we help to mentor, manage young athletes, especially the underprivileged ones, those who might have little or no resources or sponsorship, adequate support. Now, how does sport events, how does it take them into consideration, when it comes to the psychosocial development of our athletes, especially the grassroots athletes?
So every event has what you call unjust. The volunteers are available outlets where you can volunteer part of it. So a mascot for the teams, for the team sport, mascot, a ball boy, part of the health and safety team. So there are number. The volunteer scheme is very wide, it's very broad, and can be broken down into different facets. So that's one aspect. Can evolve from the hospitality perspective as well. Be a tall guy, team attaché, So for young ladies and guys out there who want to be part of the sports industry, volunteer scheme is the easiest access to be part of the sports. If experience has been across the globe, volunteer schemes are very, very complex. Which is possible. In fact, they close very early because some parts that's request. And requests also come from around the world. You know, there are people who they volunteer for it, going from country to country, offering their services for free. Then, so we have been experience recently at the young man. I remember in 1998, if I'm not mistaken, Yuga Games at Unilag, my younger brother and sister were volunteers as ball boys. So these are the news that young people can be a part in sports.
I mean, completely, I agree, 100%. So now, a lot of times when we think of sporting events, our mind go to the global events, the international ones, right? Either on the world level or on the continental level, the African Nations Cup or the World Cup and the likes. But looking at Nigeria as a country, we have a host of events, even within the country. I mean, you mentioned Nuga Games. I've been part of a couple of tournaments myself. We have a lot across different straits, across all regions. Okay, now there's a lot of opinions that football in Nigeria used to be a lot better, right? In terms of our league structure, in terms of the talents that we've put out and so on. But in recent years, we've had more events than previously.
I'm not sure we've had more things. It sports have become quite horrible and they only come alive when it's time for international. I agree with a host of examples. So boxing, for instance, being a medal opportunity for Nigeria on the amateur has lost a lot of so table tennis competition. There are different table tennis competitions happening across the country. But today, Nigeria, I don't think they have more than 3 competitions that happen in a year. And I'm talking tennis. That's table tennis. Boxing, same thing. Boxing only comes to come alive when they are prepared for Olympic qualifiers or all African. So these guys are not having enough time. So I think sometimes we forget here that the competitive edge is also as important. During the competitive edge is as important as going for major competition. Tennis is another one. The number of tennis competitions we have in Nigeria is just greatly. I think in Lagos now, we have the Governors Cup as a major tennis competition. So all the major clubs, this well, major tennis competitions that professionals and amateurs. But that's reduced. Handball, if you have a very vibrant handball league, those days in the 80s and early lights, you have grasshoppers, camel flags and the likes. That's to make handball. Although it's coming back now, current handball federation president who is doing a job. So we're not having as many competitions. Now you have much more less. Even football makes so much noise about. Last year, the Federation's Cup was not played. Or it was played but not played. Let me put that.
It reminds me about the basketball tournament for the ladies that didn't go through.
Even that's on the professional side.
On the professional level.
Nigeria pulled that.
Yes.
So even the professional league, I'm not sure they played last. Even the men played late last year. And the reason why they played late last year was because they were trying to meet up basketball African League. Not so that Nigeria does not miss out game. Because Nigeria missed out on the previous one.
Yeah.
They missed out last. Why? Because of fights the basketball federation and all that. So in terms of competition, we're not engaging our athletes in enough competition. Even athletics. The old days, you had your athletics classics, you had your mobile track and field. Those ones don't exist anymore. So until now, guys from champions have come up and they're trying to do stuff, trying to organize let's keep the local art vibrant and so I won't agree with that we have more. We have less sporting events.
I mean, thank you for the correction. I see where you're coming from. So it's been established that the events we used to have before, or rather the lack of one events we have now, correlates directly with the talents and the development of sports in our society, right? Let's establish that. Now, what do you think's created that gap? Why do we see less events, less tournaments, competitions these days, as opposed to what we used to see before? Basically, what's been the problem?
Okay, so one of the problems the lack of planning, right? Lack of planning, lack of funding, lack of imagination and inventiveness, lack of sponsorship. So every year, and I want to create a scenario for if I was first minister in Nigeria today, and I call on all the federation presidents, all the respective federation boards, my assignment to them will be for them to all submit and respective programs for local competition. Now, the majority of our federations jettison local competitions that have only the foreign competition because that is where they can make money, extra code and whatever. Now, that lack of local competitions, why we're not performing well on the world stage. I give you an example. One of the reasons why we're not performing well on the world stage is because on the local scene we have to have enough competition.
Yeah.
And you give an example. Nigeria was superb in foreign country. And let me use basketball as a the Nigerian qualified to represent Nigeria at basketball Africa. Qualified for the bar. They played maybe 10 competitive games.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, 10 games. Right? Now, they will go up against a team that play 30, 40, 50 matches. How do you expect them to perform? How would they perform well? Those guys have a competitive edge. Right?
Absolutely.
That's one. Two. So our traditions, like I said, don't have a program, local competition. There's nothing that says any federation should not have a state, countrywide competition. It's pure professional. The on the amateur side, you went on grassroots. Professional side, for national. The major problems like I highlighted are lack of planning, lack of funding, lack of objective and imaginative thinking, lack of sponsorship, the right.
You are spot on. So, if I'm thinking in my head, I've had an opinion, might be an unpopular one. When it comes to sports in Nigeria, we have a minister of sports who is at the apex level in charge of sports in Nigeria, right? And if you look at the current minister of sports, before being a minister, he had no association, no contact in sports whatsoever. I mean, I could go as far back as I can. We've had those at the helm of affairs in the sports industry of Nigeria at the national level and at the state level and at the local level as well, who had no iota, no clue of what sports is all about. You mentioned planning, you mentioned organization, budgeting. These are things that we need. These are factors that will take sports from where it is now to the next level. Do you agree with that notion that the fact that we haven't had any sports professional at the helm of affairs have affected the sport industry in Nigeria?
Let me take from this perspective. Since 1999, that we need democracy. We've had the most set of sports ministers this short discussion. That is because sports is not considered as a serious venture by government. They like to say sports is big business. Sports is this. Sports, right? But action those purpose.
Yeah.
Under the military regime, I think the military have a better understanding of how important sports is to Nigeria. They had a better understanding of how important sports is. Now, under the similar regime, what we have is sports ministry as current sports minister has almost a reward for dedication, for loyalty. Okay. After all said and done, after all the major choose ministerial appointments have been made, that's you know.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, people who have been involved in sports, whether as journalists, whether as administrators, whether as investment or whatever, and now found themselves corridors of power as either sport commissioners, heads of sporting commissions, they all fail. So when we come out and say, oh, you never put the right people to handle sports, we also should, at the back of our mind, also remember that, oh, there are times when they put people who have a sports background, side of sports, to still fail for whatever reason. Now, one of the reasons I can ascribe to them failing because generally, realistic point of view, what's not considered as a serious business. Government still sees it as two things: recreation and a form of political patronage. That's what I see. Unless when you put people who understand the industry, not only to understand the industry, but are ready to work to challenge the industry direction in the right direction. And I can mention only one or two, but just one. The reason God rest his soul, Adeyemi, as one who had that for. So when we're talking about people who understand the industry, who realize that it's important for the industry, act. That's one of so have people who have that mindset. So understand that yes, despite the fact that government sees it as pressure or political pressure, we can also steer the ship in a particular direction. So until that happens, continue to have the kind of sports ministers or commissioners of sports that we have across the country.
That is very insightful. Thank you for that. Yeah, now that is, I think, one of the biggest problems we have in the industry. You know, like you've highlighted, the government does not take sports serious enough. So now, if we look at Nigeria, the median age of about 18, 19, we have more youth in Nigeria than children and adults. And seeing how big sports in Nigeria, sports might just hold the key to what we're trying to get to as Nigerians. I mean, I don't know how, but I can identify several metrics and factors that might help us get there. And look at Nigeria today. Everyone wants to do sports. Everyone wants to play football, right? If the government can channel that passion and love and ambition, it will go a long way. From 1999, like you mentioned before, we've had a huge sports deficit from what the budget allocates to the revenue. That is a huge problem. So we have a long way to go. Mr. Adeyemi, thank you for honoring us with your presence today. And hopefully we'll do more of this. Hopefully.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. And well, this is just the beginning. We'll see more of each other. And again, thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me. And I wish you very best all that. Find more common ground.
Absolutely. Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. To follow our journey on this mission, kindly do not forget to subscribe and check us out on social media. Until next time.